sometimes life just gets in the way of living. And that's kind of where I'm at right now with the new house. I'm all in on this. I've got to get it done. And I've got a lot of work done so far. And this past week, I was working on the backside of the house and the porch and getting the posts up. And I'm about to start with the rafters and ceiling joists for it. And a lot of work left to do, and I'm just slow, to be honest. But I have accomplished a lot, so there's that. But I had decided that I'm just not going to be able to hunt this year. I mean, this is my number one priority right now, getting the house done. With that said, though, this change in the weather this past week, we know fall's coming quick. And with fall comes deer season, and I've got to go hunting at least one day. So opening day, deer season, I'm going hunting. But right now, I'm absolutely not prepared in any way whatsoever. Less than 5 weeks to go, and I'm starting from scratch on this. And I still don't have any extra time. Well, that got me to thinking, that's so many people, especially when they first start hunting. And we need to get more people into hunting. We need to get more young people hunting, because the number of young people hunting and fishing right now is declining drastically. All right, well, that's not good for the future of hunting and fishing. And we don't want a bunch of vegans trying to outlaw hunting. We want more people involved. Okay, so I'm thinking, well, maybe it might be good to go into this as a new hunter would. Somebody that they're just going with a friend or a family member. This is their first hunting trip. They just bought a new rifle, or they've got a family hand-me-down, and they're not aware yet of just how much work goes into preparing for a successful hunt or a successful season. And they're also not aware yet of just how much joy that is preparing for a successful hunt or a successful season. That's in our DNA as humans, preparing for the hunt, working on our weapons and tweaking them and just making sure they're absolute perfection and ready to go and ready to be used in the field. So I thought I might approach this with that in mind. Okay, so I need to get a gun. I need to set it up, just slap a scope on it, grab a box of bullets, go to the range, check it wherever it's at, and try to get in as much scouting as quickly as I can, just so I can go hunting opening day. And I'm not going out there to just sit in the woods opening day. I've done very well opening day for many, 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 many years, and have been blessed to have taken a buck pretty much every opening day. I want to keep that going. Okay, so this might be useful for a new hunter. And for the rest of y'all, it might just be entertaining. So, with all of that said, I have the perfect rifle for this. I picked up a rifle last spring. I'm not going to get into many details on it other than it is a Winchester. And it's a Model 70. It's a featherweight. And I have no idea how this rifle shoots. I've been absolutely itching to shoot this rifle. It's an older one. It's in excellent shape, but this is from the early 90s. And I was going to save this to do a series on in the very near future. I was hoping whenever I got time, and just, we'd go through absolutely everything on this particular rifle, because it is pretty interesting. But for our purposes right now, this is just absolutely going to be perfect. Okay, I'm just going to have to deal with whatever I've got here. I'm not going to have time to go through and troubleshoot this one. I'm not going to have time to work up a load for this one and get it dialed in and all of that fun stuff. So we've got a older Winchester Model 70. I'm not even going to say what the caliber is. We'll just say it's a smaller cartridge. That's part of the interest for next time. All right, I can't help it. It's a 6.5 by 5.5 Swede. So for any of you not familiar with it, you might as well just say it's a 6.5 Creedmoor, and we'll get into all that later. Okay, so I've got essentially a 6.5 Creedmoor here in a Winchester Model 70, and how it shoots, I have no clue. All right, so we got to get this rifle set up. All right, so I've got to pick out a scope for this rifle, and I think I've got just the perfect scope. Let me grab it. Notice the box, except for it's not a loophole. I've been saving this for a very special occasion, and this seemed like that special occasion. Okay, this is a 3x9x40 Redfield, and I stumbled across this one a while back, and it was Midway's website. It is a refurbished Redfield. Okay, and I said before that the Redfield Revolutions were made by Leupold. Well, they really are. Leupold refurbished it. Okay, so yeah, can't get them anymore. The Redfields now, I just don't know anything about the scopes other than that they're made in China, and who is it, Dick's or Academy, that they bought the Redfield name, and they're the ones selling whatever's out there for Redfield now. But okay, this was the perfect scope for this rifle because it matches this rifle. Just a simple 3x9x40. And it's just, I mean, what more can you ask for a hunting scope? Now, if I were setting this up for extreme long range, I would definitely want more magnification, but this is a lightweight rifle. It's not, this was never intended to be an extreme long range rifle. Okay, so, and I know 6.5 Creedmoor can reach out there at extreme long ranges, but that's just not how we generally hunt. Okay, so with the 6.5 Creedmoor, it's not a particularly fast cartridge, especially if you're shooting the 140 grain bullets that you would select if you were going to shoot extreme long ranges because of the high ballistic coefficient. You're losing velocity though because of the heavy bullet, so roughly 2,700 feet per second. Whereas traditional hunting rifles, when we want a long range rifle, we want extremely high velocities, so we get an extremely flat trajectory initially. So a 270 Winchester with a 130 grain bullet going 3,100 feet per second is going to have a much flatter trajectory out to 400 yards than a 6.5 Creedmoor with a 140 grain bullet that's going significantly slower. Now, once you get, out there 500, 600, 700 yards, maybe, I'd have to crunch the numbers. It's probably going to be around 800 yards before that 140 grain Creedmoor actually has a flatter trajectory than the 270 Winchester, just because there is such a large difference in the initial velocity. But anyway, okay, so this being what it is, and for me, 6.5 Creedmoor, I would never select that as a long range hunting cartridge. But hey, I'm old fashioned. Okay, which for hunting, and this is the difference between all of the tactical stuff out there now and shooting at the range versus in the field hunting, we generally just don't have time to get our laser rangefinder, check the distance to the animal, then make our adjustments on the scope, and then pull out our Kestrel and check the wind. And I mean, generally we've lost any opportunity we may have had at a shot on a game animal by the time we do all of that. Especially, I'm hunting in the southeast, so when I hunt long range, it's on a power line, or it's a pipeline, or a clear cut, or something like that. And deer generally just don't walk out in the broad, open, perfect, pristine pasture land during deer season in the daylight. Okay, so that's why the power lines can be really, really productive. Cutovers, clear cuts, especially after they've gotten grown up a little bit. Okay, so we're generally, the game animal, the deer, is coming out. We've got just a few moments to get on it and make the shot. or we just don't get a shot, it's gone. It's already disappeared in the vegetation. Well, that's why I think the traditional long-range hunting cartridges are still the way to go for my area. 270 Winchester, sub mag if you want to go that route, 25-06, some of the Weatherby cartridges, 257 Weatherby Magnum. Okay, the extremely flat shooting ones, because then we can still quickly put the crosshair on the game animal, make the shot out to 300 or 400 yards without adjusting the scope. All right, with 6.5 Creedmoor, 140 grain bullet at 400 yards, you're going to have to make some scope adjustments to compensate for the drop in the bullet. Okay, so I think that's just something for all of us to really keep in mind and be aware of, especially new hunters. Okay, now with that said, so often as a new hunter, maybe we were fortunate enough to be able to go purchase a rifle, or maybe it was just a family hand-me-down. We're going with a family member and they're just, you know, that loaner rifle that everybody in the family always used whenever they went hunting with so-and-so. Okay, so a lot of times we really don't know what we're choosing. We're just, whatever we keep hearing is popular. We're really not aware of why we picked this other than it's popular. We have confidence in it that it'll work. Or we had that old family hand-me-down that that's just what everybody used. Okay, well, most of the just standard hunting cartridges are just going to be outstanding within standard hunting ranges, and 3x9x40 scopes just going to work really well standard hunting ranges. That's why these were so popular for so many years. And I do think too many people have gotten carried away with magnification now. Okay, so I think this is going to be a pretty nice setup for what we're doing here. Is just a new rifle and a scope. We really just don't know anything about it. And we've got to get this done and ready to go hunting really quickly. So that's what we've got planned, and this is our project rifle for this. And I really do hope this will be useful to some younger people out there. Okay, any younger people right now interested in hunting, if they're looking at the hunting magazines or watching the latest and greatest hunting videos, they could easily be convinced that they need to go spend thousands upon thousands of dollars to go buy, you know, the latest and greatest sub-half MOA rifle with the precision ammo that cost over $100 a box for 20 rounds, and you know, however many thousands of dollars on the glass, and then they've got to go hunt Boone and Crockett class animals. And that just isn't the case, which, because of all that, hunting has been steadily becoming a rich man's sport for a long time now. All right. But it absolutely does not have to be that way. We can take that old family hand-me-down rifle, or we can go pick up an old used rifle from the 90s or the 80s or whenever. Put a decent scope on it that doesn't cost thousands of dollars. I think I got this one for $250. Okay, and we can have just a outstanding hunting setup, and then go hunt public land and put the time in scouting. We can still get a nice buck, or however, whatever the limit is, however many nice bucks, and stock our freezer with venison, and actually save ourselves a lot of money when we start comparing that to what beef costs at the grocery store now. But anyway, I really do think this will be useful. Okay, so we've got a rifle, got a scope. Now I just need to order some bases and rings for this, and then next time we're going to carry this to the range and factory ammo and just see what we get. God bless and have a great day.